Hello and welcome. My name is the Alpha Female and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Whoa! G'day, mateys. Bushwhacker Luke here, 2015 Hall of Famer, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk. Yeah! Whoa!
This is pro wrestling's only modern-day Viking Gunner, and you're on Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey, this is Nick Magnus-Solis, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hi, this is Leva Blue Pants Bates, and you are listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey, this is Jeff Jarrett, the king of the mountain and founder of Global Force Wrestling, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk. Hey, fellas, you guys have a great day, and this is only because I'm talking to Canadians. It is actually spitting snow in Tennessee.
See? Oh my God!
That's a great. We've had 70-degree weather here. We've really had a warm December, and I get on the phone with damn Canadians and we're spitting snow. So.
My name is Karl Karufel, and this is Turnbuckle Talk, episode number 325, entitled The World Wrestling Entertainment Company. This episode tonight brought to you by Rogue Energy. Check out rogueenergy.com, where you can get yourself some amazing energy drinks with less sugar, no crash, and amazing great taste. Use the promo code OLEPODS and get 10% off your order every single time. As we come into this episode tonight, I want to welcome my good friends, Chris Best and Chris Parrish. Gentlemen, welcome and thank you for coming here with me tonight.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
And we've got Ed in the chat here as well. Thank you, Ed, for stopping by. I know the drill. You're going to watch the VOD because you got some NXT to watch. But I appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, Ed, it's a triple header tonight. It definitely is. For us here, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so little programming notes update. In case people have missed it, Chris Best will now be the new co-host of Turnbuckle Talk going forward every single week, and I am very happy and excited to have you on board with Turnbuckle Talk and with Turnbuckle Studios and our local establishment, my friend. So welcome.
Thank you.
To your official first as full-time co-host. Chris Parrish, you're just a gorgeous looking man. That's all.
Well, thank you. I tried Botox last week. I hope it looks well.
It worked perfectly. It worked perfectly.
Sweet. You don't want to see my backside, I swear.
Got a Ken Brockman thing going on back there.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah. The Homer Simpson.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. C-Rector XO. We are good. Yes, Parrish, keep your thoughts to yourself.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. As always, we like to try to bring you guys news and information that may not be there in the mainstream or in the forefront. And we definitely do have a little bit of that tonight, but we also have a lot of forefront information to talk about here with everyone as well. I want to start off with probably one of the biggest pieces of news outside of the WWE at this time. And that's a return of CM Punk. Tony Khan is saying that he expects a positive reaction to CM Punk's return on Collision, which is only merely days away. Before we get into that, no, we're gonna have to get into it first because wait, where is it? I got it right here. I was looking in the wrong area. Joe, our good friend Joe Morin, has provided a little bit of information on this as well for us. He is working tonight, but he wanted to make sure that this came out. So I want to play this video for everyone here first, and then we'll come back and discuss this and talk. So everyone, the vocal stylings and the mind of Joe.
Hey guys, Corporate Joe here. Thought I'd hop on here very briefly. I know I'm not around the world of professional wrestling too much anymore these days, but there's something that showed up on my radar that has piqued my interest. Mr. CM Punk coming back to AEW, which I think is pretty darn cool. I know he's a pretty polarizing individual in the world of professional wrestling, but you know what? Especially with guys like Iron Sheik and whatnot gone now, Mr. Roddy Piper as well, that, we need some polarizing individuals and those who aren't afraid to speak their mind, and even kind of some inconvenient truths about professional wrestling, which he also likes to do. So I think it is wonderful that he is being still given a platform, to speak and get kind of some alternative viewpoints out there. So I'm pretty excited to see him come back on AEW and just professional wrestling in general because, especially personality-wise, even Mr. Piper himself said that Punk was one of the best characters in on the mic. So it is, I think it'd be really cool to see him back kind of doing his thing. And, it may even get me involved back watching it again, which has not been the case recently. All right, guys. Well, I will see you later. Thanks for kind of being on here in a little bit of a different way. But, I just wanted to come on here and talk briefly about that because I do miss you guys and I do miss kind of talking about professional wrestling a little bit. And who knows, Mr. CM Punk makes some noise here. Maybe you'll start seeing me a little bit more often. See you guys later.
And there you go, coming from Joe, from Mighty Joe, Corporate Joe, Big Joe, whatever you want to call him, our friend and co-founder of Turnbuckle Talk, Joe. He's excited about CM Punk, and I know that there's a lot of people, Joe said it himself, that he's a very polarizing figure. There's a lot of people who are for this and a lot of people who are against this. I don't know your guys' take on this, but we're damn sure going to find out. And I want to start with you, Parrish. What is your take on CM Punk's returning to AEW?
Well, at the end of the game or end of the day, you gotta look at what makes the most sense of drawing tickets, gaining interest, and creating a buzz. Because in this world of professional wrestling, you gotta be able to keep the fans talking about your product. You gotta get them to buy tickets to your product and whatnot. CM Punk knows how to create the narrative, and he knows how to get people talking. Whether you like him, you love, or you hate him, it doesn't matter. Are you going to pay to watch him? And a lot of people might pay to watch him fail. A lot of people may pay to watch him succeed, but they're paying to watch him nonetheless. It's very hard to get stars in professional wrestling. CM Punk is a star. He's a name. He's a name that is a crossover, whether it's in the movies, whether it's into the UFC. He is somebody who's well known. And with his time spent in WWE, he is somebody who's on the marquee. And because of that, it's a great thing for AEW. If they can make this relationship work, Tony Khan has all the reason in the world to be very positive and expect that positive reaction for his return at Collision.
Oh, yes. JJ coming in saying, what up, Karl and friends? Thank you so much, JJ, for coming by. I appreciate you very, very much. Hit me up. You still haven't hit me up yet. I got to still send you some information as well. So we'll make sure we get that done, JJ. Thank you so much. Chris, your take on this CM Punk returning to AEW in the world of professional wrestling?
I mean, I got to agree with Joe. Punk is very polarizing, but he gets people talking, as Parrish said. There's going to be a lot of morbid curiosity around how he's going to be handled over the next 3-4 months, I'm going to say.
Right.
There's my curiosity is how is the relationship with the Bucks, Kenny Omega? How is that going to pan out as far as working in the locker room? Are they or even Colt Cabana? How are those relationships in the locker room going to work out for Punk in the end?
And I think that kind of what's happening here right now is that we're probably going to have Punk as the face of Collision. So he may not really have to deal very much with the Young Bucks, with Omega, with
But what about when they do
anyone that
pay-per-views?
was right. And then at that point, CM Punk is now the face of this brand. I'm calling them brands. He's the face of this brand. So
yeah,
he has his own locker room. He doesn't have to deal with that bullshit. No one has to deal with his bullshit. All the bullshit's contained into one little package. CM Punk. Or, sorry, his locker room.
And I suppose you could have, like, let's say he has to work Kenny Omega in a match. I'm certain, I guess you could have a middleman talk about what they want to do in the match between one another, a mediator of sorts.
You could. JJ, I'm kind of in the same situation as you right now. JJ says, I've exited the CM Punk fan club, done with that bozo. I mean, I've been done with CM Punk for a while now. If this is going to be something that's good for business, then okay, I'm all right with this, right? If it's going to better AEW, then I will go along with it. I don't have to like it, but I want what is best for the company and professional wrestling. Parrish, you're going to have to adjust your camera or something because we're covering your face every time a comment comes up here. It says, good evening, you magnificent bastards, and congratulations to Mr. Best taking my place alongside Karl on Turnbuckle Talk. You earned it soon, says Joe.
Well,
and Joe, I hope that you were here for, we played your video. That's how this conversation has all come about, so I appreciate that greatly. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of CM Punk anymore.
I'm in that same boat as you, Karl. I'm done with him as well. But like I said, there's just a bit of morbid curiosity because of the talk that's going on. And like I said, I want to see where this is, where this relationship is 3 or 4 months down the road.
Right. Parrish poking his head up there. JJ says, if it's best for business, then he doesn't need to get in the ring again. And I mean, I definitely understand that. And yes, Joe, thank you. I definitely understand that. At the same time, if he's not in the ring, are the people going to be buying the tickets because he's not in the ring, or are they going to buy the tickets because he's in the ring? And kind of open up this new brand that AEW has. So you guys have any other thoughts on this?
I think one of the things that kind of turned me away from CM Punk when he was in AEW, because I'm not going to lie, like CM Punk was definitely somebody I was a fan of back when he was in WWE, back when he was in Ring of Honor.
Right.
But when his promos carried out of professional wrestling and he went, kind of like a lot do in AEW, they kind of go to the outskirts of, the real life, or, get that petty heat or get that petty pop. I didn't really like that as much for a guy like Punk. But then when he was trying so much in the ring that he shouldn't. And you go back to when he kept trying that buckshot lariat, and it was like me in chemistry class. It just never worked out. You got to try something new, man. And it just, given his age, given his athleticism, which we all knew, he was a very ugly athlete in the ring.
Right.
He's good. He was good, but he was a very ugly athlete.
Yeah.
He has to learn, like, not to just do all these moves. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And that's something that I really do hope that he would at least he will learn from. I know there was probably a lot of excitement for him to come back, but also AEW, I think, it's either about to release or maybe it's a fan release, but there is a CM FTR shirt. So it looks like CM Punk, along with the Revival, are going to be a focal point of that brand. So
Yeah.
Dax Harwood has openly stated how much he does want him back. I think the narrative of CM Punk not being well liked might be blown out of proportion. He's probably not well liked by the people who love the Elite, but
right.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people, and Billy Gunn just came out and said that he wasn't as bad as people thought, said he was either. And if a guy like Billy Gunn says that, who's in the locker room, very well respected, very polished, very mature himself inside of that, then who are we to judge in question?
Right. Right. You got anything else on that, Chris?
No, I mean, Parrish just said everything I was thinking.
Sorry.
That's all right.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate that.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I do actually remember, like, when you said Billy Gunn said he was a great guy, he was friendly, and everybody, and shaking hands, kissing everybody's ass back in the locker room. I actually do remember a lot of wrestlers coming forward in defense of Punk after that whole incident with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks as well.
Right. Right.
Could we just chalk this up that it could just be a generational gap in the locker room?
That's what I'm thinking.
That might be able to go with a lot of wrestling companies now, especially when you have guys that were around in the early 2000s, and then the people coming in now, opposed to the guys that were from the 90s. I mean, those are three completely different generations with three completely different styles and three completely different perceptions of how wrestling works, with three completely different fan bases. And some are crossover too. So like, we got to look at that as well. And there's so much more to just a narrative of, I know, like Punk, because he doesn't like Kenny Omega. It's like, okay, get over that. Cool.
Right. No, totally get that. Totally get that. Punk is net positive for the business. At least Joe thinks so. You know what I think is good for business? Allison Danger. Allison Danger is absolutely fantastic for business inside the ring. Worked with many different companies over her professional wrestling career, and she has now returned to the WWE to work with NXT at the Performance Center as a quote unquote, at this time, guest coach. So like you and I talked about, Parrish, before getting on here, the word guest coach typically is like tryout, essentially is what that means, right? So
I mean, look at Shawn Michaels. He was a guest coach before he became a coach.
Right. Exactly. I'm like super happy about this, that she is back. She is there. She is going to be helping. Everything is going to be good again. I hope for the women in the developmental system to have somebody with the wisdom and experience, especially somebody who has experience in a coaching capacity like Allison Danger or like Sarah Amato. Both of those names working together, if hopefully working together.
Also add Molly Holly to that.
Yes, Molly Holly as well. Is Nora there?
Yeah, she's a producer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay. So there we go.
And then just in a couple of years, maybe even add Natalia to that. And then you look at possibly maybe even Tamina.
I was just going to say Tamina would be great there.
The amount of just pure knowledge, the amount of experience, but also the respect that comes with the names of Allison Danger, all the girls who do, but primarily the Allison Danger. I mean, that is such a benefit for the young ladies coming in the NXT and developing. Like, just imagine you look at the NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton and just like how much she could benefit from having this type of person just backstage, being able to bounce ideas, bouncing. Should I do this? How do I do this? Why should I do that? But then also, like, it's such a benefit to the product. And I think this is one of those moves that you can really see, okay, this is probably why William Regal was brought back to the WWE.
Yeah.
She brings with her a world of knowledge based off of everywhere she's been. So she brings in all kinds of different wrestling styles that she can teach these women and the men as well.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of excited to see what comes of the class that she's teaching right now.
And something that I love, besides a Mel Ball, is that she is back there working with her brother, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to break some kayfabe here. Allison Danger and Steve Carino are brother and sister. So they're back together, working together, which is absolutely
Carino,
fantastic.
What a mind he is too, eh?
Right? Right? So can you imagine the two of them working together to come up with something, to do trainings, if they need help with, production, if they need help with story, if they need help with anything? Those two names alone working together, and how great it would it be to work with your sibling, as long as you've got a good relationship with them.
And I'm gonna tell this right now too. If you're an NXT rookie and you're actually watching this podcast, thank you. But pick her brain definitely, because I'll tell you right now, when I worked as a rookie in my first year, my first show was with Chris Thorne. I immediately went to him and picked his brain, and he told me everything I needed to know about my first show, how to handle the audience, how to be a heel manager, because I was a manager for that first show.
Right.
He told me everything I needed to know about that. And I've carried that knowledge with me, and I'll carry that knowledge with me to the grave.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I think one of the things I really enjoyed about Allison Danger, especially in her run at Ring of Honor, you could just see the confidence she just brought out every time she appeared, whether it was on the microphone, inside a ring, anything. You didn't see a lot of nerves. She might have been a nervous wreck inside, who knows, but she didn't show it. A true professional there, but also like someone that is very polished in that craft. And when you look at the NXT, yeah, that is a completely different spectrum of people who are polished, people who are starting off, just a mixture of different levels of experience. But being able to, for Allison Danger, not only help out the people that sometimes don't even know A to B, but also the people trying to put together those paragraphs. I mean, she's going to be able to help them all. She's very well versed and very smart. So it's going to be just an absolutely bright light for the potential of the people in NXT and the Performance Center.
Exactly. And I love that the Performance Center and NXT are kind of still together, which allows for that to happen. It's not like a separate entity. They're there in NXT is in the Performance Center training and working and doing everything that needs to be done right there. Big things happening for NXT though. They're filing for more trademarks happening here. They've now seemingly filed for another new trademark. We'll get to that in just a moment. Just a little while ago, they filed for the name Meta-4 for Noam Dar's new faction, as well as to get back the names Candice LeRae and Tegan Knox, because those trademarks actually expired back in December. The new one that they have put in for trademark is called NXT Gold Rush. What it is right now, we have absolutely no clue, but we can say that, WWE held a Gold Rush tournament in 2005 back then. It was won by Edge, who was the Money in the Bank briefcase holder at that time. We have no idea if this is going to actually be a matchup or if Gold Rush is going to be the name of a pay-per-view. There's no indications right now, but I'm happy about it. I'm excited for it. I'm loving that NXT is growing and kind of taking on its own brand.
Yeah.
not just now being referred to as down there or back to, right? We've now got Basser with us in the chat as well. Good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you. But to have them almost being their own brand is absolutely fantastic for me. Do you guys have any speculations or any actual factual information on this that I haven't seen yet?
I mean, I don't, but I have some ideas on what it could be.
Okay.
The one is just a standard tournament, similar to what they did in 2005 for the Gold Rush.
Right.
But why not do another tournament style similar to the G1 Climax using NXT wrestlers?
Okay. I could get behind that. Having, a nice longer drawn out tournament. As long as we're not going to get an NXT PLE that's going to be 6 hours long like New Japan does at times.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like maybe something, because to me, NXT Stand and Deliver is NXT's WrestleMania. So maybe you can do something to build to that.
Right. You definitely could. Is that Canada? What's caca? Pluggo. Use your big boy words. Come on, my friend.
Those might be his big boy words. I don't know. But it's nice to see you again, Pluggo. How you been?
It's so good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate you coming by. This is absolutely fantastic. Turnbuckle Talk still going, and we've got I don't have those. Yeah, sometimes I don't have big boy words either. Sometimes I don't. Parrish, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at, okay, what does the main roster have? And they like you said, they have WrestleMania, and NXT has Stand and Deliver. You also have, like the Royal Rumble, or as NXT debuted the Iron Survivor late last year. And then maybe, just maybe, like the main roster, they could have King and Queen of the Ring, while maybe the Gold Rush and the Dusty Classic could be something NXT has. I'm thinking if this is maybe another potential match idea that helps separates the NXT from the Raws and SmackDowns and give them a little bit of something from their own.
Right.
They actually introduced a Gold Rush tournament in NXT in 2012 as well.
That's
and
right.
it was
I
done to
forgot about
determine
that
the
one.
first ever NXT champion. With 4 NXT wrestlers and 4 main roster stars, that ended up with Seth Rollins beating Jinder Mahal to win that inaugural NXT title. So there's your facts for you. But so I wonder if this is potentially a match to help either find out who number 1 contender is, or maybe it's there to establish a breakout champion. Maybe it's one of those for like a level up, and maybe they have a tournament to find out, okay, which one of these competitors can win the Gold Rush, and not only do they jump up to the NXT, but they jump up with a title shot in tow. And if that's the case, that's a great way to elevate somebody onto the platform right away with some sort of credibility, because they now have that championship match.
Yeah,
we've seen stuff like that happen in the past with NXT. Because I go back to, like, say, TNA and Impact with the Feast or Fired match, and how much that kind of brought intrigue into the product. This could be the very similar thing for NXT and or Level Up as well.
And I mean, the 2005.
Hold on just a second there, Chris. Since we're talking NXT right now, Ed has some breaking NXT news for us. Says, not sure if you guys are staying up with NXT, but Seth is now defending back-to-back nights, Monday and Tuesday. Is Braun Breaker? Is that who he's going up against? Is that
Braun Breaker did leave the open challenge last week.
Yeah, I do have NXT going on in the background as well, but I was going to bring that up, Ed, but I also wanted you to be the guy later tonight with taking over with your guest host, Mark Talks Wrestling, which you can find on the OLE platform right after this show at about 10:20 Eastern, around that time. I wanted you to be the one that broke it, so I'm very happy you at least mentioned it, because you are our voice of NXT over at our local establishment. But yeah,
along with Astrid as well.
Yeah, but she's like, she's more the face. Like we talked about this on Wrestle Draft. Astrid is definitely the face of NXT for OLE, and Ed, obviously with his rants, is now the voice. Hello.
Right.
More. I can eat the comment.
Double Dana Brooke segments. Jeez.
Oh my God. Speaking of toilet sessions.
So, Chris, I apologize. Your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, like, based off what Parrish had said, I mean, that was the whole point of the 2005 Gold Rush was to promote Edge. Edge was being pushed as the next top dude.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely he was.
Something I did want to point out, because after I was reading that with Dusty Rhodes being the guy that brought that in, we now see like William Regal kind of being the assistant to Triple H. And Triple H is very well known of having somebody by his side to help him along the way. I mean, he had Dusty Rhodes at that beginning part of NXT, and then William Regal later on. Now he has, I'm trying to remember the guy from...
He's got Jeremy Borash with him right now.
Thank you. That was the name I was trying to remember. So, yes, Jeremy Borash over at NXT. I'm wondering if he is also talking with Cody a little bit about those ideas as well, because Cody's a very old soul when it comes to the thought process of professional wrestling, and he's not far off from the tree of the American dream himself.
Right.
But also, you got that. Then you have William Regal potentially also maybe helping out guys like Shawn Michaels, and now Shawn Michaels could have like all these other ones. So I wonder if this is just a little bit of an ode to Dusty a little bit on bringing this back, because it was something that really grew the root of NXT from day one. So
right. Definitely could be, and I would be more than happy with that. I'm super happy when it comes to, building and helping and creating new. And to see all of that happen with NXT is absolutely fantastic. I also love that transitions over into the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown as well. Even when we're talking about Irishmen. That's right. Finn Balor actually has teased adding a new member to the Judgment Day, possibly, as we saw last night on Monday Night Raw. This has been a very big story lately outside of the, bloodline story. We've got the Judgment Day stories that have been going on. And this one is just the next episode in this series that we're seeing for the Judgment Day. Damian Priest maybe is out, and JD McDonough is in. That's speculation. That is not truth to anything right now. But from what we've been seeing, there's many different ways that we can actually take this. But JD McDonough has been a focal point since coming over from NXT to Monday Night Raw. And him and Finn Balor keeping together, sticking together, and seemingly having a friendship to a possible working relationship go on. Chris Best, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because you had thoughts on it last night, and I want to hear what you're thinking now, hearing a little bit more.
So I'm still all for it, because we're going to get that teacher-student relationship. We're probably going to still build to a feud towards that, because I just got the thought in my brain. Remember when The Rock joined the Nation of Domination, and it was because of Farouk bringing him in, and Farouk began to regret it, and then the Nation turned on Farouk? What if we get that storyline with JD McDonough coming in, turning the Judgment Day against Finn, thus turning Finn babyface? And we get Finn and JD.
That's an interesting way to go about it. It definitely is an interesting way to go about it. I have a hard time seeing JD McDonough as a face, though.
No, JD would be the
heel. Constant scowl. Okay. Because I was gonna say that constant scowl that he has on his face, and I'm not making fun of the way he looks. He just always has like this resting dick face going on. And that's just him. But because of that, I can't see him as a face. So to keep him as a heel would be perfect idea. Parrish.
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea as well, because as we all know that Finn Balor actually has that World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Damian Priest has now qualified for that Money in the Bank ladder match. What if potentially this was all designed to kind of lead to something at Money in the Bank? Because as we saw last night on Monday Night Raw, there's a lot of teases with Finn Balor kind of almost doing his own thing while being in the group. You know, he makes that little comment that allows Rhea to slap him, tell him to shut up in Spanish. But also there is almost that divide or that tease of a division between Priest and Balor, where, you know, Balor was the one who interrupts the conversation with JD McDonough and Finn, and then he questions Finn Balor whether or not he can keep his word by staying out of his match. He then says he's going to do his match with Matt Riddle by himself. So he's taken upon himself to kind of separate a little bit from the group. And if you remember back from the Evolution days, Batista did something very similar as well, which resulted in Triple H then turning on them. Now, it was done in different ways, obviously, but at the same time, what if Finn Balor fails to defeat Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, while Damian Priest earlier in the night wins Money in the Bank and uses a beat-up Seth Rollins from that as an opportunity to cash in and become the World Heavyweight Champion? Therefore, your standing image to finish this show actually shows Finn Balor looking over at his stablemate Damian Priest as the guy that did what he failed to do, but on the accord of his work as well. Damian Priest then keeps his word by saying he's not going to cash in on Finn like Finn asked him on Raw, but he also does his own thing, thus then now creating a plan with Finn Balor wanting to bring in JD McDonough because he knows he can trust JD, whereas after this could be a division in the trust between Damian and Finn Balor.
So much to take in there. I want to hear your guys' comments. All of you that are listening to this or watching this after the fact, I want you guys to leave your comments down below on this entire Judgment Day situation, including JD McDonough. And remember, if you haven't already and you're watching on YouTube, it's totally free for you to leave a thumbs up for us. That thumbs up goes a very long way in helping get this program pushed out to more people and added into that algorithm so that we can be shown to more people. And if you want to, subscribe to the channel as well. Ring that notification bell. Then you'll get notified every time that we are live. You want to check out some really cool content, make sure that you are checking out our friends over at Real Wrestling. That's realwrestling.net. News and views by real fans. Turnbuckle Talk is part of that as well. Each and every week we go international when Real Wrestling puts this program up for everyone to see. So thank you to our friends over with realwrestling.net. We're going to cool off a little bit here as I take a drink of my non-sponsored Dr. Pepper, because this next topic is a little upsetting. It is very disturbing, the lengths that some people will go to make $1. We've seen this situation happening in the past with Rhea Ripley and even Rey Mysterio. But now it has happened to Jeff Hardy. There's a video that is floating around there on the interwebs and especially on the Twitter box. Just look up Just Talk Wrestling. The video is there. That's where I was able to find it from. They write, poor Jeff Hardy, minding his own business, and these weirdos rush him with an avalanche of things he needs to sign, like he owes them all that. Nothing wrong with politely asking for something, but this is so awkward. Before we get into it, though, Jeff's brother Matt came to, I don't want to say the defense of Jeff, but kind of informed everyone, letting them know that Jeff doesn't actively look at anything on Twitter unless he has something to post. So I'm going to address this. This is definitely taking advantage of Jeff's kindness. If you see a wrestler in the airport and ask for an autograph or two, that's acceptable. This isn't not appropriate or cool. Parrish, I know that you're itching. I want to hear your thoughts on people coming up to stars with a multitude of different things for them to autograph.
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand wanting to get an autograph. I can understand wanting to take a photo with somebody that you're very envious of because they're on your television screen. They're somebody you follow every week. I can understand that. But the one thing you also have to understand is they are just like you and I. They're people. And there's a right place, there's a wrong place. And I understand that the question could be, well, when am I ever going to get this opportunity? That's fine. But also understand the situation you're in. If you're at the airport and they're trying to make a flight, right. There's something on the go for that person. And also, two people needing just a plethora of things to sign from him. I mean, at some point, I mean, just say when. I mean, one or two things, very acceptable. You'll be fine, as Matt said. Like, no problem. But when it becomes a little excessive, understand that that's a little much. And if your end game is to just make $1 and not do any real work, and you do it at somebody's expense, you're a piece of trash, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There is an honest day's work, and there is not an honest day's work, and that is not an honest day's work. All you're doing is basically you're exposing the fame of somebody else for your personal success, and that is just wrong, and that is despicable. In fact, I really wish it was illegal, to be quite honest.
Me too. Chris, what are your thoughts on this? I know you share the same sentiments, but
I definitely do because I've again, I'm going to go back because when we talked about the Rhea Ripley situation, I brought up the Sasha Banks incident when that happened to her too.
Yes,
and she came out saying that, like, yeah, she doesn't mind taking a picture with the fans, and that's cool and all that, signing maybe a magazine cover that she was on, whatever. But at 3:00 in the morning or anything like that, when the wrestler's getting off the plane, the first thing they want to fucking do is go to bed and go to their hotel and just maybe eat something, relax, watch a little TV before they have to work.
Yeah.
Let them fucking do that. And if you're going to get an autograph, go to a controlled environment and get those autographs.
It's very true. There are conventions that they go to where, yes, I know that you're going in, you're paying for a ticket to go and see them. I get that, but you've got everybody that you can see during that convention, and go and get your autographs there. Or go to somewhere like Dark Parlor, one of these places that offer these, right?
Yeah.
Try to do something with them and say, hey, I've got this amount of, what can we get done? Companies are always looking to help, especially if it's going to be a big name that they can say, we have had this name here to do so, right? So those are your controlled environments. Those are the ways to go about it. These people seeing this video, makes me absolutely sick, because this 100% is just for their gain and their gain alone. There is absolutely no way that they are getting these autographs for all the kids on their block. Absolutely no freaking
No.
way. They are taking these, they are reselling them on whatever platform they want to, whether it's eBay, Amazon, whatnot. It doesn't matter. They're reselling these for their own personal gain. We're taking advantage of these people, and I think it's absolutely disgusting that we're
And that's why-
still doing this.
And that's why I know many years ago, I remember a news story about Kanye West. He was, the paparazzi were after him. He was in a restaurant trying to eat. I understand why he snapped on the paparazzi there. I totally get it.
Right?
As much as I think he's a dick, I get it.
Well, and you've seen some things. Like I remember watching a clip with John Cena, and I don't recall the shop that he was.
I think I know the video
definitely
you're
tell
talking about.
Is videotaping him, and John Cena has done how many Make-A-Wishes? He almost stops and like we've seen the videos of him signing thousands and thousands and thousands of stuff before a show, and he gets visually upset with this guy because he didn't ask for permission for the thing, and it's just simple as that. Like it's, hey man, like it's almost saying I don't care that you videotape me.
You want to know something, Paris?
Just do it if I save it. You can do it. No, I know.
That's not the first time that that guy has encountered John Cena.
No, I know, but it's just an example of a statement that is these people are just that, they're people.
Right.
If you're gonna ask for a photo and stuff like that, don't corner them. Don't approach them aggressively. Be polite. Be a real nice human being and ask. If they say no, respect that answer. If there's ever a time to also understand that no is an answer, you have to just respect. This is another version of that.
Oh yeah.
Among others that we won't get into, but just understand, like this isn't about you. Like, man, like just respect is all that is needed here.
That's it.
Because like, would you like it if I went to your job, hypothetically, if it's at a warehouse and you're trying to do your job, or maybe you're trying to go home from your job and I come in and I just run up to you with, hey, can you sign all these? Can I I got a photo, give me a picture, and kind of like try to belittle you. Like it's just rude and just obnoxious. And quite honestly, I'm surprised how many people don't punch these people in the face.
Right. The funny thing about that John Cena video is in that video, there's another guy who walks up to John Cena and asks him to take a picture. And John Cena agrees and gives him a picture.
Yep.
I'm sure that was also done knowing that the guy's right there. And John Cena's like, this ain't an attitude adjustment. This is the FU.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Also, I know we were talking about it earlier. I am watching NXT, and there is a thing explaining the Gold Rush.
Okay.
So I thought it would be appropriate, given how we just talked about it. Shawn Michaels tweeted saying, NXT Gold Rush, a 2-week NXT TV special. Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title main events next week. The winner of tonight's Baron Corbin, and I'm assuming that's Ilya Dragunov. I have no idea the Twitter handle. Faces Carmelo for the NXT title in 2 weeks. So it's a collection of 2 separate shows featuring championship matches, hence the Gold Rush, as both shows main evented by championship matches.
Okay, so it's NXT's version of Night of Champions.
Almost, yeah. But just to give you guys clarification on it, because we did mention it.
No, that's good. That's good. Always clarification is always good, and it's quick. This was done quickly because we're like literally just found out about this new, like trademark that's come through, and they're already going and talking about it and giving us this trademark of Gold Rush.
So last night we talked about unexpected moments in WWE. I feel like this is an unexpected moment as well, because WWE is, it seems right now that they're playing their plans for the future close to they're playing the cards for their plans for the future close to their heart.
Yeah,
and
they
not letting
definitely
anybody
are.
on the outside come in and spoil it for us.
Right? Which you know what I absolutely love, because I mean, today's day and age, I've got my computer, I've got a tablet, I've got my cell phone, I've got all of these different things that are available for me just to go, and there it is. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that this is being still kept close and coming out as these surprises, because we need more of that.
And it is Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin.
Okay.
It just seemed way too Russian for me to think somebody else, but
right.
People have weird hands now.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Corbin wins, because they're pushing for him and Mello to wrestle.
So I kind of want to see Ilya and Carmelo today.
Right. I think.
But right now, that's the road they're going with Corbin.
In fact, have a draw and give me a 3-way. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool too. I definitely would be okay with that.
That way, Ilya can take the pin, and then you can still build to a singles match between Baron and Carmelo. Yeah,
I like that. You know who isn't getting any?
Hat. This is my promoter hat that I'm wearing right now.
right? You know who isn't getting any championship matches anytime soon right now?
How do you tell?
The Maximum Male Models. Because where have they been? Well, apparently, the talk right now is that we are going to get a repackaging happen, as we kind of talked about last night once again on the Raw watch along. The two of them getting a repackage since moving to main roster status. Maxine Dupri, essentially leaving the group and siding now with Chad Gable and Otis with the Alpha Academy. We needed to do something with them. Don't know what as of yet, but the talk is that yes, there is creative plans for them that will be changing, which I guess is a reason why we haven't seen them on TV lately.
Yeah.
Chris, you look like you're itching to say something.
I'm just thinking this is like a repackage for Mace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times are we going to repackage this guy before we realize it's not catching on?
I don't know.
I mean, he started off as what? He was the announcer for Raw, which he was actually fine in that job.
Right.
And then he became Mace, the guy with I forget that stable.
Retribution.
And now he's Mace. So I don't know. Like I'm Mansoor, I still have a lot of hope for him because I think he's very talented.
Yes.
But I just don't know about Mace anymore.
I mean, I would flat out put Mansoor into Sheer and make that a 4-man stable. And with Mace out, even look at targeting maybe a Von Wagner pairing or something in that. Like I agree with you. Like, although I just don't know. Part of me also hopes they stay together as a tag team, because that could really be a benefit in the tag team division. But
yeah,
I really don't know what could be with how I'm going to call it the facelift to the Maximum Male Models.
I don't know either. Dio Madden, I guess, before as well, for Mace, repackage. I mean, there's only so many people that can do that. Chris Jericho is the greatest at repackaging himself, but he always kept the same freaking name.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing we have to understand too, a lot of these ideas that he had were in the Vince McMahon creative era. He's never had
that's why I say I don't know about him.
So who's to say if it's really him as the issue, or maybe the fact that there is a bad correlation of communication between what the head of creative at the time, Vince, and the expectation of what it is like for the performer. So
Right.
who knows? It's not like the maximum male model for drawing you millions and millions of dollars. They weren't necessarily primetime players, but
and we already have Pretty Deadly pretty much pulling the same gimmick that Maximum Male Models was doing anyways.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll be interesting to see long term what happens with them, if they stay together, if they are separated, whatever this repackaging is going to be. We don't know just yet.
I don't see them releasing Mansoor because right now he's over with the Saudi Arabian crowd.
Right.
So it'd be a mistake to let him go.
Right. And I don't think that either one of them are going to be let go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just this repackaging is definitely going to happen for them.
Yeah.
But I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see into the future. I can only speculate on things. Long term, no clue.
Yeah. I mean, there is rumors that some cuts will be made eventually this year.
I read post SummerSlam they're looking at doing some cuts.
Yeah, so this very well could be hey, look, you've had a few of these opportunities now. We're going to give you one last one. Make it count, because this very well could be very similar to John Cena, right? He was it's no secret that he was primed to be a cut. He was told he was going to be a release until that European tour where they got caught. He was caught rapping by Stephanie McMahon, and then that led to that gimmick that ended up saving his career with WWE. And good call, Steph. But so who's to say at some point? But I wouldn't be surprised if this is, dude, you really need to do something with this. If you don't, you might have to look elsewhere.
Right. And that's with anything, though. That's with any business. Really is. Unfortunately. Big business right now. Yes, we'll talk about some big business for something that is essentially repackaged and new once again. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reflects on the first season of the XFL and talks about plans moving forward. He took to Twitter to respond to Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine says, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says the XFL will succeed. Who wants to tell him he's wrong? To which The Rock responded, I've tried to tell him his whole life, but he's never listened to me. With a laughy, smiley, tongue out emoji. He says, I play the long game in business, and XFL is no exception. We saw some nice successes and took some L's in our first season that we learned from. 75 to 100 XFL players will be competing in NFL camps this fall. That's a big number that will continue to grow season over season. We're in it for the long haul, step by step. Step by step, building the league of opportunity. Like with any venture, success takes time. And then he says, thanks, XFL fans, for the love and support. So unlike previous owners who just kind of said, I give up on this shit, The Rock has decided that he's in it for the long term, for the long game, to go and give a Hail freaking Mary to this entire business. I love it, and I'm happy. And I'm happy that he acknowledged that, yes, they did suffer some L's, some losses, but they're learning from them to make things better. Chris Best, what do you think about the XFL and what's been happening here?
To be honest, I didn't even know they had their first season already. I thought they were still trying to build the league.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for me, like, good on The Rock for saying, like, you know what, screw you. We're gonna push for this and we're gonna make it succeed.
Right.
That's how he's always been. He's always been like, how can I make myself succeed in this business that I'm in?
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so. Parrish,
and I mean,
oh, wait. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
He took a major setback. He lost something like $60 million doing it. But that's for anybody who's starting a new business. You have to expect loss in your first year. If you profit, you're failing.
First 5 years
Yeah.
of a business, yes, is very, very telling. And yes, within the first 5 years, expect losses. That's what I've learned from business anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just the thing. You can't expect the overnight sensations, right? It's nice to have, but
Yeah.
it's not going to happen all the time. And the one nice thing is that there is potential. If anybody actually had the opportunity to watch XFL before the pandemic, that was one really unfortunate because that was really good football and a great product. And
I watched a couple games.
I really believed that had an opportunity to really set some momentum. And it does give me definitely a cross feel of watching CFL and NXF and NFL. Don't ask me why. But it's one of those things where it's an alternative. And that's just it. And that's just it. Like if you love AEW because it is that alternative, it is an Impact, it isn't WWE. It's nothing like what you've seen, and maybe they just gave you a reason not to love professional wrestling, but AEW does. Great, that's for you. Just like if NFL is not your thing because it's too political, it's too dramatic, or you just don't like the quality of the CFL and you want an alternative and you want something more than just college football, then yeah, the XFL could very well be for you. And I love the fact there's loyalty with the owner and the product. He believes in this product, and because of that, you're gonna see a long tenure here because he definitely has the money to do this, despite maybe the fact that he's had some setbacks in his career. Now, it's The Rock. He's the number one draw in Hollywood, and at any point he can just call Triple H and be like, "Yeah, I'm good for WrestleMania." Boom, there's a boatload of money in your pocket that he could just put towards the XFL.
Right.
But I mean, it's just not bad. It's not bad football, people. It's just different. You got to enjoy it. And I bet you anything, if you gave it a chance, you will appreciate it. I watched a few games, and I actually was not disappointed. It's not like I put it on, and after a couple plays, couple possessions, I'm like, no. I watched the game, and I was actually impressed the fact that I enjoyed it as much as I did. But that's just me. I mean, but just give it an opportunity before you knock.
And as I said, like, I'm a guy who doesn't really watch football, but I watched a couple games that season, and I was happy with what we were seeing.
I still want to get me my St. Louis Battlehawks jersey. Hanging right up on there.
Me jersey.
Caca. Caca. Oh, yes.
Now where's Pluggo's comment?
Right there.
There we go.
What I love about this is that he is still being so positive after a lot of bullshit that has happened for him. Black Adam taking a real nosedive in the box office.
His TV show getting canceled.
Yeah, Young Rock being canceled. He's still remaining optimistic throughout all of these situations, including the XFL, which he actually co-owns with his ex-wife, Danny Garcia.
Yeah. You also have to think, if anybody understands that failures don't define your success, it is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. How many of those did he have before he truly made it large with the WWF/WWE?
Right.
I mean, look at his tryout with the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah. And also, like, he could have been a shoo-in after college ball. But that didn't work out to where he wanted. He didn't land that NFL gig. He went to the CFL. That didn't work out. He then went into the business of professional wrestling. Rocky Maivia.
That almost
fizzled.
Didn't work out.
Yeah, it went, and then it fizzled. So, like, he had his own collection of things that didn't go right, but that didn't define what he was capable of. And I think he has a very similar mindset to the XFL, and he's not going to let the XFL's name be tarnished because of one season. He's going to allow it, because it might not have made money, but he probably doesn't look at it as a failure of a season, and that's a completely different mindset.
And that's the attitude of his grandmother coming into play, because his grandmother, as a promoter, she pushed and pushed and pushed and fought against every other promoter that tried to overtake her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
no wonder why they worked with Vince McMahon.
Right. Before we get to our final topic of the night here, I want to let everybody know that if you want some merchandise from Turnbuckle Studios, you can check out the link down below, karlkarufel.redbubble.com. Yes, you can get yourself a sweet Turnbuckle Talk shirt, a Beats and Beatdowns t-shirt, mug, mouse pad, I think, maybe. You want something a little more spooky-ooky-ish? Yes, we even have some Paramindful merchandise there. And this weekend, we'll be including 2 brand new t-shirts to the show. I'm sorry that OMD isn't here for us tonight. And Parrish, you're going to be covered up here, but I'm going to show everybody sneak peek. OMD's Locker Room Visit t-shirt will be available coming up this weekend, as well as a visit to the urination station shirt available for all. Yes. And we'll look at other merchandise as well to put on there. But I want to say thank you to those who have made purchases already. And every time you make a purchase, yes, a little bit of it comes back to me, which helps me continue to pay for, different things that I use, including the program that I have to do up these graphics. Yes, it definitely does. And this is our final topic for the night. The World Wrestling Entertainment Company, for those of you that are listening in audio format afterwards, it is done in the Walt Disney World font, because we are going to be talking about Disney and the WWE. So we all know that things are going to be available for people to put bids on. The deals, the 5-year deals and stuff that have come into and they're coming up to end, which means that other people can maybe start to put their hands in there and throw around a little bit of money. One of the biggest names that has come out of that so far has been the possibility of the Disney Corporation having interest in the broadcasting rights for the WWE. Chris Best, what do you think about Disney possibly vying for this?
So we know that Disney and NBC are basically rivals right now. So if Disney does do this, I can fully see them moving the network over to Disney Plus, which, would be a positive for me because I've got Disney Plus.
I got Disney Plus too.
The networks, I can see them moving Raw to, maybe say Monday nights on ABC, you could do it. Fox is also owned by Disney, if I'm not mistaken, or at least has some ownership with those networks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you can do, but I'm just a little bit leery about that because I know how strong the relationship between WWE and NBC has been as well.
Right. I don't know, Parrish, what do you think?
I think at this point, anything's on the table. I mean, we've seen in the same year, we've seen the WWE and the UFC merge. Just last week, we saw PGA and Liv merging. We're seeing a lot of things we didn't expect. Just in the last calendar year, we saw Vince McMahon retire. We've seen him come back. We've seen him lose a lot of his share. Like, just a lot of things we didn't think were imaginable.
Right.
But they happened. Why? Because at some point, money speaks. And we know from the last time Raw and SmackDown were up for grabs for the television rights for the United States, there was a lot of money spent
to
have those rights. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that. And I wouldn't even be shocked if WWE is looking at maybe wanting to move away from Peacock.
Right.
and maybe kind of bringing that network back. And what a better place to bring it back to than the Disney Plus, a place that knows how to do the streaming very well. And they've
I've had no
incorporated
issues with streaming.
yeah, and they've done a lot of sports too
Mhm.
recently. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I thought, why not like have a partnership with Disney in some way? You can always get that WWE ride over at Disney too, that I think would be so beneficial.
Oh yeah,
and just imagine an NXT show at one of those at Disneyland or Disney World or something like that. And I almost guarantee you do something with Disney, I guarantee you Matt Cardona is coming right back to WWE.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, as you said, Chris, they there could be a little bit of a thing with Fox, who does currently own the rights to SmackDown. Now with the partnership with UFC, who did have a partnership with Fox, that still could be on the table. We might even see ESPN come into play, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, that's the other thing. I didn't think ESPN could show Raw.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine the possibility, especially with Pat McAfee now working there. That could be a bridge in the communication between ESPN and WWE.
Yeah.
Anything's on the table at this point, and that's still saying USA and Fox very well could retain the rights here. They're not out of the books yet.
And let's not forget, Disney isn't the only one that's in this bidding war that's going to be happening. Amazon has thrown their name in the hat as well. But the only thing I can see Amazon doing is maybe trying to acquire the rights for the WWE network.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what they own as far as TV channels go.
None that I'm aware of.
Which means that if it's going to be on Amazon, I can guarantee you have to pay extra.
Well, I mean, Amazon has kind of partnered with, or maybe I've just seen commercials for it, but like Stack TV, is it?
Yeah.
Right. So
doesn't Amazon do Prime as well?
Yes, Amazon does Prime.
That's what I mean. It's Prime Video. WWE Network is going to show up on there. If that
so
was the case.
It could be a branch to kind of help the Prime out as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting as long as, I mean, I don't think, like, for us, we're all Canadians, so it doesn't
affect us in any way.
No, because we all know with AEW, they TSN's with AEW and the Sports Sense with WWE. That's not going to change for Canada. So, like, we don't have to really worry. In fact, we still got the network, so it's great for both sets.
Yeah.
But for the people over in the States, it's really depending. And with Triple H kind of being the one in charge now, who's to say if his perception of WWE being viewed on maybe those ESPNs or those, keeping with Fox, but maybe those more sport heavy centric stuff might be a better direction, because he does kind of have that different of opinion than Vince does necessarily, but understands how important, like we're talking about, and Disney can actually be as well for a long-term thing. It's why I was actually shocked not to see Disney as a bigger player in the purchase of WWE.
Right? Me too. I definitely was surprised by that. I want to thank my good friend Nick Miller over at WrestlingInc.com for the report that he has here about, the Disney and some reports coming from that. And I just want to read a little bit of his article here for everyone. It says, rather than looking to air the WWE programming on ESPN, Disney reportedly wants to pair the company with the FX network. So unlike on ESPN, airing on FX would ensure that Raw or SmackDown doesn't get preempted by any other sports broadcasting, which they take priority for some reason, right? And then he says that other media companies that could contend include, as we've already talked, Amazon, which would look to add programming to its growing selection of live content, Apple, and Warner Brothers Discovery being labeled as dark horses for the rights to the broadcasting side of things.
Okay, so I don't think it's going to be Discovery, because right now they're in the middle of a merger with HBO right now.
Okay. Still dark horse.
True.
Yeah, but like it if you're gonna merge or even a sale, like that takes a good chunk of a year to finalize. And if that's the case, they might be major players that don't be involved just because they're more worried about that as well. I know what you're gonna say. It could be one of those things that could help add to it. It could work in favor as well, but it's I don't know, personally I don't see it.
They have time. Every one of these companies, whether they are going through any other type of merger right now, have time because the deals with Comcast and Fox that were signed in 2019 don't expire until October of 2024. So this is just a opening up of conversations that is able to happen now.
Right.
And for all we know, they could say, we're happy with what we've got and we're not going absolutely anywhere.
Yeah, because right now they said the NBC Universal negotiations for a new contract have closed, which leaves WWE open to look at other options with NBC Universal still throwing them offers.
Exactly. Just because it's closed doesn't mean they still can't throw offers. They could be sitting back going, let's use the interwebs and see, speculated what these people are doing. Okay, and here's what we're going to do now.
Yeah. It's one of those old-fashioned tricks of negotiation of just saying, okay, well, you think we're not worth this or you don't want to pay this. Okay, well, maybe we'll talk with somebody else. And the story comes out, we're talking that. And you don't know the numbers. And you're like, well, we don't necessarily want to see said other company win this, right? We'd rather lose to that person than you guys. So because of that, we'll just pay the money. And ultimately, it gives WWE what they wanted. But we again, like there's so many things to say with very little information out there, as in what could happen. We just know the questions at hand, and that is, like you said, Karl, October 2024. That's when we know they could change. We know the story is now. Let's speculate on what we could see. Disney being a major player, but I mean, I just know as Canadians, we just saw the sale of the Ottawa Senators hockey team. There were speculations that Snoop Dogg, Ryan Reynolds were in there, and over time that faded away. So these things do have a process, and they are ups and downs in negotiation. So I mean, maybe we'll find out more in a few months, but I mean, I know you said these companies have time. WWE may not want to give it the time. They might want to get things done relatively quick.
Understandable. You know what else is quick?
Dr. Pepper. What?
The shipping service that you can receive from our friends at Invasion Comics. If you're into comics, Funko Pops, collectibles, strategy games, you name it, go and check out invasioncnc.ca, where you can find Invasion comics and collectibles. Anything that you want that is available there on their website. Use the secure checkout and get it shipped to you at a really good rate and almost mock speed. Live long and prosper.
I can't do that.
I can barely do it, so.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being part of this program with me. Chris Best, you will be co-host going forward, and I am super thankful for that. Parrish, anytime that you want to jump in, you know you are more than welcome to do so. You never have to ask, just let me know. I want you to let everybody know what you've got going on with our local establishment coming up in the next little while.
Well, you don't have to wait too long, because tomorrow night, Ed Fries and I are right back at it with another edition of Wrestle Draft, as we will appear just a little after 10 o'clock Eastern there, as we kind of set up kind of the finale of our season 1. There's a lot of chunks of it. I believe it's weeks, I want to say 16 to 19. I could be wrong on there, but we are setting up for the finale here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I am very much in the set. I'm still in third, but I just took a major step and inching closer and closer to both Ed and Eric Bischoff. So you never know what's going to happen. I kind of like to play that game of not being the odds-on favorite. We always see in sports, right? The team that always wins in the regular season tends to go out quick in the playoffs. I want to be that late bloomer that just goes to the finals. And hey, look at the NHL finals tonight. Two epitome of that exact right there. And then obviously this Sunday we've got Busting Out as Bobby Munson and I are coming back with episode 42. 43, and we have none other than MLW's #1 contender, winner of the Battle Riot 5. In our opinions, the next MLW heavyweight champion, Alex Kane. He is going to be in the studios. He is our guest. Yeah, we told everybody we were rescheduling, and we were scheduled for the special Father's Day edition with Alex Kane. So hey, you don't want to miss that.
Can't wait till that show drops.
That's going to be this Sunday, Father's Day. That's when it's going to be happening. Chris Best, anything that you have that you want to put out there for the people?
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube at CBRS Entertainment. I am very, very, very close to getting my stream started back up. Just a couple more little kinks I need to work out before I get that back going and getting up and running.
And with that being said, we bid you all adieu. Late bloomer Chris Best. He'll catch on.
Better late than ever.
Remember, everyone, the world's a scary place. Take care of each other.